I never thought I would be able to live like this nomadic, adventurous lifestyle. And the reason for this is something very personal, but I had, for a very long time, loud, chronic, bothersome ringing in the ears. Tinnitus, or tinnitus, however you want to say it. And I've since returned to peace, returned to silence through a process called habituation. But I'm going to explain how it was for me before I recovered. And stick around and watch this entire video because I put together a free tinnitus test you can take, and the link is going to be flashed on the bottom of the screen randomly throughout this video. So if you stick around and watch this entire video, you're going to have that test, and that's going to be able to tell you how bothered you are by your tinnitus. This really helps to help you habituate. So let's get back to the story. Basically, my entire life I suffered with anxiety, overthinking, PTSD, stuff like that. I had a very tumultuous upbringing, a lot of violence in my household, and just fighting. My parents fought all the time. But when tinnitus came on the scene, it hit me like a just it was horrible. It was I couldn't concentrate, I couldn't build websites, I couldn't play music. I had hyperacusis with the tinnitus, so like when dishes would clank, it would echo in my ear, like the sound would echo in my ear. It's horrible. It terrifies you, you know? You become afraid of sound. You don't want to hear anything, right? Because like it feels like the sound is stuck in your head. At least that's what me. That's how the hyperacusis was. Certain frequencies, like I used to produce music, I couldn't produce music anymore because certain frequencies distorted in my head. They distorted. So like kick drums all sounded like distorted to me. It sounded like there was a distortion on it. Guitar frequencies, especially like the high up G string, would distort in my ear, and so like it became really upsetting to play music because it just felt like my inner bandwidth was just maxed out. My inner auditory bandwidth. So any sort of higher dB sound would just distort out, and it was utterly horrible. And on top of that, the catastrophic thinking. You know, my thoughts were really bad about this stuff. It was like, I'm never going to get better. I'm never going to recover. I'm always going to be suffering. This sucks. Why did this have to happen to me? My life sucks. It's not fair for me. I can't control the sound. I'm stuck like this. This feels claustrophobic, blah, blah, blah. And I was spiraling thoughts. And I couldn't get sleep, so I had insomnia on top of that. I thought that I had like a million different disorders. I thought I had ALS. I thought I had a brain tumor. I thought I had cancer. I thought I had rabies. I thought I had FFI, fatal familiar insomnia. So I was a hypochondriac. I was diagnosed myself with a new disorder every single day because pretty much tinnitus could be a symptom of anything, literally anything. So I'm like, well, I'm not sleeping. I have, shortness of breath sometimes. I have ringing in the ears. And then because of that, I have another host of symptoms, right? Because if you're not sleeping, then, you're more susceptible to get colds and sicknesses and stuff like that. So I basically was diagnosing myself with a new disorder every single day. It was utterly terrible. So how did I break out of this, right? Because you can't sustain that type of living. Your nervous system can't sustain that type of fight or flight. Here's the secret. Okay, you can't control the sound. You can't fight it because if you fight it, that which you resist shall persist. You can't fight it, and you can't try and control it, and you can't stop your life and put your life on hold because of it, which was what I was doing. So I had to change my response to it. I practiced this through meditation, mindfulness meditation, and cognitive thought reframing. So reframing my thoughts about it. So like catching myself when a bad thought would come on the scene and be like, you're never going to get better. Reframing it and being like, no, I can get better. This is just a momentary thing that I'm going to get better from. So reframing my thoughts and meditating and grounding myself and rejoining life and not practicing avoidance behavior. So like not avoiding things. I was avoiding silence. I hated silence because I heard the loud ringing and that would trigger it. And so I avoided silence. So I had to get back to like being in silence again. I had to learn to listen to the tinnitus. I had to basically expose myself to the ringing while I was in like a therapeutic, calm, meditative state and practice not freaking out while I listened to it. So it was a ton of stuff I did, and it wasn't easy, but Over time, what happened was I returned to silence because my brain basically tuned it out. And my tinnitus was loud, bro. And I mean loud, I mean deafeningly loud. It wasn't just tinnitus, it was hyperacusis, and it also came with a sensation like I was deaf just listening to it. So it was a really just a whole myriad of horrifying, psychologically torturous symptoms. But I recovered and went back to my silence. And then after that, I started developing applications and traveling the world. And, now I live in a hut and I live in a jungle. And tinnitus is just, it's no longer an issue. I never even hear it. It's basically as if it never happened. So if this video resonates with you, what I want you to do is share this video with as many tinnitus sufferers as you possibly can. Okay? Go get the tinnitus test. Hit that link. Get that tinnitus test. I flashed that link at least once, so get that tinnitus test. And, subscribe because it doesn't cost you anything. It really helps the algorithm get this information to as many tinnitus sufferers as possible. Comment below. I don't care if it's a good comment or a bad comment. As long as it's real, as long as it's honest, that's all I care about. And until next time, I'll talk to you later. Peace.